Hi, I'm Kristen Marvin, a performance recovery specialist, helping athletes achieve their best through proper recovery. Have you ever thought outside of the box what you can do for ankle mobility? That's a huge topic with CrossFitters and Olympic lifters because it's hard getting down into the squat position. When you're not training for that hour or a few hours a day, you've got the rest of the 22 to 23 hours where certain positions that you hold can affect your tissues, hence your ability to dorsiflex at the ankle. Here's my beautiful mannequin or whatever. And when you're born, when babies are born, it's absolutely fantastic. You look at their feet, they're not fully formed. They don't have all of the bones in the foot, but they do have a perfectly neutral foot, meaning, so that they can completely dorsiflex and plantar flex, then come back into a neutral position with no problem at all. It's very, very natural. If adults, are to sit down on the ground, the likelihood of them being neutral are very, very slim. Most of us are in plantar flexion. And some of you might cheat and put your feet on the floor and say, no, I'm in, neutral position. Well, how about you lie down on the ground, and if you're completely relaxed, you'll notice most likely that you are in plantar flexion. What does that mean? That means the sarcomeres, the most basic unit in a muscle, each sarcomere has actin and myosin filaments, and they slide over each other in terms of contracting a muscle. So the sarcomere actually shortens and then it lengthens when you lengthen the actual muscle. So when we're born, we have a perfect amount of sarcomeres on the front and then a perfect amount of sarcomeres on the back. However, as humans, we like to put shoes on ourselves as quickly as possible. So even babies have shoes on, and it quickly adapts and over time to more of a plantar flexion. The whole notion of use it or lose it, that very much goes with positioning. We can actually lose sarcomeres, and that's exactly what happens over time on the back side, in the calves. You'll notice the plantar flexion, and we could even grow some more in the front and the shins. That's why over time, and no matter how much during our hour workout of mobility that we do, it's not going to change the amount of time we spend in shoes. That's the number one thing you can think about. When you are at the box, if you're always wearing your CrossFit shoes, this is just the run-of-the-mill CrossFit shoe, but it's still a heeled shoe. You're still putting yourself in an environment to basically have less length, so less sarcomeres in the calves, and hence more plantar flexion occurs, and much harder for you to get that ankle mobility and in position. And then obviously with the lifting shoes, they're much higher, they're like a high heel, then it'll be harder for you to adapt to even get our foot into a neutral position, let alone dorsiflexion. Everybody's always talking about dorsiflexion, but our ability just to get to neutral is hard at this point. Definitely think of the shoes that you wear all day, every day, because when you're walking about, think about how wonderful it can be just to have those flat shoes and to try to get, sarcomere growth back on the back side. Sitting, guess what happens when sitting? Well, when we sit, we're actually shortening, more of the calf muscles, or giving them time to adapt depending on the shoes that we wear. So if we're at work, if you have guys wearing dress shoes and ladies wearing dress shoes, the likelihood of them being high-heeled are quite high, hence shortening the calves from not only the feet but also at the back of the knee because you have your gastrocnemius and your plantaris that attach to the femur. Once again, we're losing sarcomeres just because our body is telling that particular area, well, okay, you don't need us anymore, so we're just going to go bye-bye over time. Definitely, we all have to sit. If it's possible, even sitting on a chair, make sure you sit on your ischial tuberosities and not your tailbone, but straightening the legs out and maybe trying to get more into a neutral position, but obviously not with too much tension, because then you'll create more tension where it really doesn't belong. But just getting more length just by having straight legs when you sit down in a chair. Next thing you can think about is actually walking. Walking is the most amazing natural whole body movement you can do, and it helps with all of your tissues. So think about that with flat shoes. Environment. If I never go uphill, then I will never have the opportunity to go into actual true dorsiflexion. When you walk up a hill or run up a hill for training, guess what? You're getting definite more ankle mobility, and also dependent on the shoes you wear. Do more hill walks, do more hill training. The adaptations you can incur just by hills around your area, and not only in training, just everyday walking to and from work will be fantastic. Definitely think about that. What about crawling? I don't know if this guy can crawl, but crawling, crawling's a good one, because you can get into at least neutral for those of you who are in massive plantar flexion all the time, at least into neutral, and work out your entire body. Crawling is phenomenal. Definitely think about crawling at home. Even if you only do a few minutes a day, you will notice massive increases in mobility and stability in literally almost your entire body. It's brilliant. Last thing, when you sleep. When you are sleeping in bed, a lot of people, I'm not even going to go into the mattress, into the kind of bed and all this and all that, but I will go into the fact that a lot of people love having their sheets tight and wrapped around their mattress. Well, guess what happens to your feet all the long you are lying in bed sleeping? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. You're sleeping and your sheets are pulling on the feet. You're always in plantar flexion while you are sleeping. Or you're sleeping on your side in the fetal position, hanging out, and once again, plantar flexion. We are habits of our environment. Adaptation. We are also very malleable. So if we change our environment, we can definitely change the way our body works. We can definitely grow back sarcomeres in our tissues and get that ankle mobility, not just from the hour, from all of the other hours that we have in the day, in the week. And we really need to seriously consider that, because we'll get much more health and performance out of our bodies through that way. Take care and have a wonderful day.